Tonight in Houston, the Republican National Convention officially makes it a ticket to ride from Texas. It's renomination night for Bush Quayle in '92. Starting here and now, they hope to convince the country they're the ticket that best represents the values of most Americans, helping to set the tone and underscore what the Republicans see as their differences with Democrats. A speech by Barbara Bush, the popular First Lady, now being deployed as a weapon in the Bush Quayle campaign. So get ready for more of the political drama that is the Republican Convention here in Houston tonight.
Campaign 92, the Republican National Convention. Live from the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, here is Dan Rather.
Good evening, and here on the floor of the Astrodome, there's a tingle, even a little electricity in the air. Big night for the Republicans. For one thing, they're beginning to believe they've got something going here. They are convinced that they're scoring and scoring heavily against Governor and Mrs. Clinton. This is the officially designated, quote, family values night. It's also the night of the woman. Barbara Bush's address, of course, will be the set piece of the evening. One of the things adding to the electric feeling here on the floor is most of the delegates know that President Bush is now in the hall, as is Vice President Quayle. All in all, the Republicans hope this will be the night that will almost perfectly tee up President Bush's own acceptance speech tomorrow night. Now, in the background of this, some good economic news for the Bush Quayle team as well as for the country today. The trade figure's looking better. This whole thing is also being played out, though, against a backdrop of Ross Perot confirming to CBS News today that he is indeed considering the possibility of getting back into the presidential race. Now, this could complicate things, and complicated it plenty, for both the Clinton and the Bush campaigns. Ed Bradley's been looking into this. He's over now at the Washington State delegation, I think. Ed?
Yeah, Dan, the major hitter here tonight for the Bush campaign is Barbara Bush, a woman who has spent most of her life putting family first, supporting her husband's career, and sacrificing any personal career ambition she might have had. And the campaign feels that people in this country will respond positively to those so-called old-fashioned values, like a belief in God, a commitment to the family, and hard work. And that comparing their roster of stars to the Democrats, particularly Barbara Bush against Hillary Clinton, and raising the specter of sexual values, that the Republicans will be in an obvious we win, they lose situation. One thing they'll have to deal with is that come November, they will recognize that it will not be Barbara Bush who is running, but it will be George Bush running against Bill Clinton. Dan?
Thanks, Ed. We want to mention that on this CBS Republican Convention coverage later in the evening, and only, we think, on this CBS coverage, you'll hear and see an interview with Ross Perot in which we hope to clarify a bit about what it is he's thinking, and since he's now talking about getting in the race, what it's going to take for him to get back in. But more about that a little later on. Right now, let's note that there are many Republicans who believe that if the Bush Quayle ticket couldn't carry Mississippi, that their chances in the overall election are slim to none. Current polls, for whatever you make of them, indicate that the Bush Quayle ticket may be running as much as 8 points behind in Mississippi. Connie Chung is in the Mississippi delegation.
Was raised to believe that he is...
Dan, I am in the heart of Dixie, Mississippi, the heart of the Republican strength in the South. In 1988, President Bush did win with a strong 60% of the vote, and you're correct, about 8 to 10 points behind now, behind Clinton. When you hear Lynn Martin and Barbara Bush speak tonight, they're going to be talking about a kinder, more open Republican Party. But that's not necessarily what's going to motivate voters in the Deep South. The campaign hopes that this family values theme is going to be a code word to captivate key Reagan Democrats and evangelicals who are key to a Bush win. Now, the GOP message is against abortion rights, against homosexual rights, against racial quotas. Dan, it's sort of Pat Buchanan with a smile, not a snarl. It's very calculated, Dan.
Thanks, Connie. Now, we're about 3/4 of the way back in this end of the Astrodome. A home plate would be about, maybe 50 yards behind us, and that's just about where Bob Schieffer is. He's covering the podium for us. Bob?
Well, good evening, Dan. You were talking a while ago about how delegates here are feeling about their chances. Our CBS News pollsters, as you know, have been out in the field this week. We don't have a large sample yet, but we are coming up with some fairly interesting findings. One thing we're finding is that indeed the attacks on Bill Clinton are beginning to have some effect. His negatives are going up. That means, in plain talk, that George Bush is beginning to take some votes away from Bill Clinton. There's also an odd finding, though, and that is that while Bill Clinton's